This is another Disney podcast production.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to our 1-year anniversary show of another Disney podcast. That is right, everybody. 1 year ago, 1 year ago in January, this podcast started, and I wasn't here for the 1 year or the beginning, but we have some of the people with us who were. We're going to call them the OGs. Let's bring them in because I want to say hi to these people. Oh my goodness, it is Ryan. Ryan is back.
The reveal was not spectacular if you were on audio.
It probably wasn't.
Yeah, and they're like, cheers. I don't know what's happening. So if you haven't listened from episode 1 or jumped in whenever you found us and did not decide to go back to episode 1, Ryan, who was with us on the show, was one of the three of us that started this podcast.
Yeah. It's really weird to think about like time and perception. It feels like it was 3 years ago.
Wow.
I saw a meme. What is it? You know, the whole like Bernie Sanders when he's like sitting with his little oven mitts. I saw a meme that was like, hey, just in case you didn't feel like this was a long year, this was not even 12 months ago.
Oh gosh.
I did see that meme and I was like, wow, that really does make me feel old.
Time truly is relative.
Not as old as Bernie. So let's go back to the beginning because it was literally like over the holidays, about middle of December, we really started plowing through and figuring out. Talk about some of the longest things it took to get, and it's not stuff you would think. Talk about some of the longer things whatever, the stuff that took the longest.
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me back, David.
Oh, man. You were the first person I thought of.
I really consider you one of my oldest and dearest friends at this point. It's hard to believe that you and I have been friends for almost a decade now itself.
It's weird, and I'm only 11 years old. So
well, everybody thinks I look 11 years old. If I could have a conversation with how many strangers have asked me, like, are you still in college? And I tell them I'm pushing 30.
Kids, don't talk to strangers.
But oh my gosh, yeah, it's just crazy to think about. Our love and our passions, are really what brought us together as friends in the first place.
Technology world,
yeah. We worked together for a little while at a store, and what was really crazy about that is that if it weren't for you saying, "Hey Ryan, I've got this really big TV." And we are going to have a Star Wars marathon over a span of 2 months with all of our friends and family. Would you come along? This probably wouldn't have ever happened in the beginning itself.
Yeah, it's true.
So I'm just super thankful for you as a friend.
Thanks, man.
Because of that, I've come to know Brandon too. I've actually, even though you're 800 miles away in Florida, we have met in person and hung out before.
We have.
It was a good time. Yes. If you could rewind back just a year out of that time period, oh man, I think when I look back at that time, I think about how it was very much a go time period. I think we were really debating on if we could do a podcast, what would it be? Mm-hmm. And if we really wanted to, well, it's like we were just spitballing for a little while.
Yeah. And we were I was really focused in on technology because that was our common ground. But it was hard because just like what you do, it's basically an NDA. You're not allowed to talk about it. That's basically one of those things.
I don't work for the government or I'm like some assassin or something. It's just, I just am not allowed to talk about things like that. And that's almost all we ever talk about when we hang out.
Right.
How many texts have we sent back and forth? Like, I don't know how this thing works with what we're doing. How do we fix it?
Yeah.
And I think about when we were starting to really think about what this podcast would look like, I remember we were sharing podcasts back and forth. Mm-hmm. And we were like, what do we like about these podcasts and what do we not like about these podcasts? And how can we kind of take a subject that we might also be interested in and funnel it through some of our influences? Because I've learned that there is no such thing as an original thought.
No.
Like your thoughts, whatever creative ideas you had, they're really cool. They're really unique. I promise you they were spawned by somebody else.
Yeah, 100%.
So we all have influences. We all have biases, all that kind of stuff. I think there was one time in the decision factor of what kind of podcast this was going to be, I think we were almost having the idea of it would be just you and me, and we would do like an 80s movies podcast. And we would just take 80s movies, and me being somebody that grew up in the 90s, you'd be like, let me tell you what this was really like. And that was the idea. And then we're like, that feels like that could fizzle out really easily.
I'm just going to go ahead and mute that whole section because that's not off the table yet, and we're not going to let anybody steal your idea. Does that sound good? So there's going to be a lot of white noise and nothing going like, why was there 45 seconds of silence on their podcast? You'll never know. You'll never know.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. So those early stages. Yep.
Those early stages. I think about how there was a lot of back and forth between what the name was going to be.
Yeah.
And it was like analysis paralysis, I think, at one point. And you were just like, you know what? It's just all these other Disney podcasts. We're just going to be another one.
Yeah. I mean, they're not joking when they say three's a crowd. And that wasn't in a negative. I don't mean that in a negative thing between me, you, and Matthew. It's just like, it's like two people talking can usually figure things out easier than adding that third, that completes that triangle. It adds a whole new dynamic and then a whole new opinion. And it's like, man, it's super challenging to land on an idea when you add that third person in. And so that was probably the biggest thing. It was never like bad or negative. It was just challenging, right?
Yeah.
It was challenging. And so, finally I was like, what do you think about another Disney podcast? And it was kind of like this, like a hush went over the crowd.
Yeah, very much so. And,
so that's where it went.
When I think about that time too, there was almost like no prep time in those first couple of episodes. It was very much hey, I just spent $400 on this, and this.
Yeah.
You're just going to give me half the money, and we're just going to rock.
Yes.
We're just going to go. And
you can see it now it's in the wide shot. You can see it there. There's all of our money mixed in together.
Yeah, very much so. And I think about how it was a long time for us trying to come up with a logo. Like I know when I zoom out, it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks or whatever. But it was like there was so much of like going back to the drawing board.
gosh.
I know all of us took like whatever artwork we could make on our computers, and we're like, well, what if we look at like this?
Yeah.
I remember trying to make the original like circle and two circles on top and just putting it on a mic stand. And I remember you specifically like looked at me and you were like, this looks like a vanity mirror, just this perfect circle. It doesn't look like a microphone at all. Like that doesn't look like
lipstick on.
And so then we went from like a circle to like the elongated circle, something that actually looks like what we're dealing with right here, right?
With our microphones,
And I remember when I first did it, it was just like the two ears on top in the direct center, and I couldn't unsee that it just looked like the Android logo. Yeah. And that's thought of every single time.
And then we were going to do it like I wanted it cockeyed sideways, like the hat was off to the angle.
And then we tilted it.
I was hell bent on that.
You were.
Yeah.
You were also hell bent on ADP being in it. And I remember I was like, no, it doesn't need it. It just needs to be a clean cut logo, nothing else. And eventually you just won.
I muscled through.
You definitely did. I can remember some challenging times where I was like, I'm so mad.
Do you want to know how things have changed?
Oh,
now
I
Brandon makes all the decisions.
Yeah, that is 100%.
Yes, like I'm telling you, the last 3 or 4 shows that we've done, well, there was one that I had in there, but like he's come up with all the ideas, come up with it. Like I just was, and part of it was like we were down and out for a month for Thanksgiving, and then we were like the whole house went down with sickness, so it was all staggered, so it was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, Brandon has been killing it with his show ideas, so I feel like I've let go of some of that.
Yeah. Were you down with the sickness?
As soon as I said that, I was like,
he was down with the sickness. Down with the sickness. Yes. Dave, you've given up, you've definitely given up control. Yeah. And it's, I think like Ryan said, it's like we have also been friends for over a decade now. So that makes us super old because Ryan's 12. But I think just because we're such good friends and we work so well together, and like the passion for Disney is there, like it's much easier for one of us to throw out an idea and to have the other person say, right, that's dumb. Like we're not going to do that. Like here's a better idea. So I think it's just like, even with Ryan and with you and with like we're all such good friends that it just works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah. Now I will say this. So when we landed on Disney, because that was the whole process too of finally picking it, One of the things that kind of helped tie that together is Matthew and I loved parks.
Yeah.
But with Disney acquiring Lucasfilm, Ryan is the biggest, like, I know some huge Star Wars fans, but Ryan's the biggest Star Wars fan that I know personally. And so obviously with Disney Plus coming out and all that content going to there, and then all this new content that has been pushed, and we'll talk about one of those brand new shows here shortly. I just knew that he would jump on to that because, like, Star Wars, yes, I'll talk about Star Wars. So it worked out really, really well. And now, as if some of you are like, wait, you guys never talk about Star Wars. That's how much the show has changed over the course. And so speaking of that, your first time that you went to Walt Disney World was with me and Micaiah.
Yeah.
Was it 2016, 2017?
I want to say, I'm sure your photos has an
bet
album
it's 2016.
to it. Yeah, I think it was 2016.
So here's what I want to ask. You, for the first time, because when we went, whether it was 2016 or 2017, doesn't matter, there was no Galaxy's Edge.
No, there was
not.
not.
But you just went in October? No, September?
No, August. Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, that's what it was.
First week of September.
And so that was the first time that you, the biggest Star Wars fan that I know, got to experience Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
So I want to know, because we never really, you landed with the, oh my gosh, it was awesome, but you never really unpacked some of that for me. So to walk me through, how did you come in? Did you come in through the big rock entrance, or did you come in through Toy Story Land?
We went in through the big rock entrance.
Okay. So start me there at that moment and take me to what it was like.
Yeah, I think about how when I was doing this show very often with you, a big thing was like I was going to go to Disney World and I was never going to tell you until I arrived.
You did say that.
It didn't work out that way because I had questions. I'm like, wait, what? Let's make sure I do this right and don't screw this up.
But he knew I wasn't. He picked a time that he knew I wouldn't go because I would never go that time of year or that weekend.
So my personal pro tip to anybody that can go without kids is to go Labor Day weekend. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. We were really concerned. We timed some other things that we wanted to do when my best friend and I, my other best friend, and I went.
The young, cool one.
Yes, the younger, cooler one. I traded you in for a newer model.
Wow.
And we were like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to make it a 2-day park hopper experience, and we're just going to go, 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 go. And it was just always on the move, always moving. There were no time for breaks. So we went through, you were talking about, did you go through the rock entrance, the Toy Story entrance? We went through that main rock entrance, and it was really strange in a sense of, you've got all these like fun little, almost like carnival music to an extent of what plays throughout Epcot, right? And you're just like having a good time. And then you like, you literally feel like you are being transported.
It transitions.
It goes from all this music, and you almost feel like the soundtrack does change. Like somebody literally hit the skip button and it was like, here's the next song.
Yeah.
You see the mist kind of roll through, and then you just hear like ambient noises like woo, 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 like all these little birds and chirps. And so you're just walking through it and you're just like, what on earth? And the truth is that you weren't on Earth. You were on a different world. You were on Batuu itself. So we walked through it. We were blown away because, you're just walking through it, and then you hear the fly over you like you're expecting a TIE fighter to be like on a lever just flying past you. It was just wild. I think what really struck me is like, we all know Disney has incredible attention to detail, but like when you go up to pay for a drink and you look at the little card payment system and it's literally covered and decked out with things in like the Star Wars language,
right?
Which is a nerd tip called Arabesh.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's literally they've thought of everything. And then you lead up to the moment where you see the shuttle camped out where the 2 stormtroopers and Kylo Ren come hang out, and then it comes to its pinnacle when you arrive at the Falcon. And what was crazy about it is that when we were there, again, Labor Day weekend, there was no one there. We got photos and it looked like the park was empty. No other people in the shot, nothing. It was nuts. And then we went on Smuggler's Run. And I think what was really impressive on Smuggler's Run was like when you're walking around it and you're walking through it. And these are just things you notice as a Star Wars nerd more than anything, which is, you're walking behind the Falcon and you hear it almost like it's charging up, like it's ready to take off at any moment.
Yep.
And you see actually the lights on the back of it. You're just like, oh my gosh. And then it just shuts down. You're like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's a piece of junk. It can't take off.
It's like that 1986 car that just turns over and over and over.
I believe Ray said it best. The garbage will do.
Yeah.
So
now, here's the thing. Whether you like Star Wars or not, because you touched on it, and that's Disney's attention to detail.
Yeah.
If any of you have watched why I love Disney, and it's that level of detail. They pay attention to the stuff that nobody will notice. So when it gets noticed, it's kind of mind blowing. Now, of all the things that Disney has done, I don't think anything comes close to the level of details that Galaxy's Edge provides. I mean, that is whether you like it or not, you are completely immersed from stuff that goes up to steps that leads to a door that doesn't open and doesn't go anywhere. Now, I know there's other things, like there's like that in Animal Kingdom, there's like that in other parks, but it's just all of the technical look and feel and of stuff that no one's ever going to be able to walk up there, yet all of that detail is complete and finished and fine-tuned. And that is to me, that's where Disney is untouchable when they do it right, because I have opinions on things that they had the opportunity to do and they didn't have that level of detail.
The detail itself is at its height.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Brandon.
You speak to that, Dave. I was just going to say, you speak to that even when it comes down to the cast members that work in Galaxy's Edge. I mean, things you ask them about, like if you ask them about a Star Wars movie, they're like, what's a movie? Like if you ask them about your cell phone, they're like, what's a cell phone? Like, what's a credit card? So like just the attention to detail that they show and not breaking character, because you and I have been there a lot and I try to mess with them and get them to break character and say things, and they just will not. So, I mean, I just love the attention to detail. And like you said, it's in other parks, but I mean, Galaxy's Edge is a place where you can be a character and you can play a character 1,000%. And that's why I like to go visit it. I mean, we've been there so much, but every time you're going to experience something different cast member.
Yeah.
I have a good example of that. When we were going on Rise of the Resistance, I think the level of detail is at its height when you're on the Star Destroyer. Like, I've never seen anything as impressive as that when you're in the hangar and then when you're walking through to the point where you're getting on the ride. I remember this, and I almost feel bad for what I'm about to say, but anyway, we're waiting in line and you're waiting with like the First Order themselves, like cast members dressed up as the officers, right? And I remember one of them was just like being very, very pushy in terms of, you're going to get in this line. You're going to go right here, right now. Right. And I almost had the feeling of like, I can't tell if this is the cast member as a person or is this just their character. Like they were being super snarky, almost to the point of being mean. And I chalk it up to the benefit of the doubt of they were just in their character at that 100%. Moment. But it's just wild the lengths that they will go to. I think my ultimate favorite part about being in Galaxy's Edge wasn't Rise of the Resistance. That's pretty up there. It was not Rise of the Resistance. It was not. It was not Smuggler's Run. They're awesome. You know what the number one thing for me was?
Go.
It was, even just as a spectator, I didn't partake in this. My friend that went actually was involved with it, was the creation of the lightsaber.
Yeah, I've only watched it on YouTube.
It is mind-blowing how well it is done. You are literally watching a show. You are literally in a show watching somebody do incredible storytelling. Like the person that was there, they were talking and it was queued up to the music and it was like the legit Star Wars music.
Yeah.
And then when Frank Oz's voice itself comes over towards the end and it's like Yoda is speaking to you through the beyond, through the Force. It was just like,
it's crazy.
Whoa.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was the best part of Galaxy's Edge to me.
Yeah, 100%. I still think my favorite thing is back to that level of detail of when, sorry for all these spoilers, when you're walking through the Falcon to get it, like when you finally make it in, the fact really that, cool. You know, we've seen in all the films that the floor, like they're metal planks that are removable that they can store stuff in. They can store, they've hid in down there before. But that when you're walking on them, they clank. I mean, it's that like, I just love, and of course, when you go into the cockpit, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like it did not, it felt like.
This is the movie.
Yeah. It was insane.
We wrote it until we were sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that ride, and it was actually awesome during COVID when they put you in there and they like only your part got to go in there. So like it was 2 or 3 of you in the whole cockpit of the Falcon, and you could take pictures, and it was great. But Dave talking to that level of detail, and Dave and I talk about this on the podcast a lot, Ryan, and it has to do with hardcore Star Wars fans. So I'd love to know your opinion about it. So we all know that Batuu and Galaxy's Edge is not the Star Wars that most people know and love, right? It's a alternate world. It's a brand new world. It's brand new characters, brand new experiences. So I was wondering, as being a hardcore Star Wars fan, would you rather it be the Star Wars of Luke, Leia, Chewie, Vader? Or
great question.
Is it better that it is, this new world with
the new order?
That you have to be into the new movies to
great
really
question
enjoy.
Great question.
I remember rewinding back to January, February, and I remember asking this question because I had never been to Galaxy's Edge myself, and I was like, why can't we see all of the characters? Why can't it just honor all the time periods for what it's in? Like, and I get it, and I see what they're trying to do. There is always going to be a part of you that wants to see the characters from the original trilogy. There's always going to be something in you that wants to see Darth Vader walking around. There's something in me that's always going to want to see Boba Fett and Mando and all of them walking around. But I also think, Star Wars nerds go to the extreme where I think there are a lot of Star Wars fans that wish that they could dress up and they could go walk through Batuu themselves as they are.
We can do this better.
Which is interesting. In my research of the Galactic Star Cruiser base, you will be able to dress up completely in that 2-day experience. But if I had to pick it the way I wanted to, I would much prefer it to be the OG trilogy.
I'm with you.
I would love to see a mixture of all the things. Like I would love to see the chicken walker, up and just like as a prop.
Yeah. Those things are rad.
Yeah. And we talk about this, like the hardcore Star Wars fans are going to go because it's Star Wars. Right. The general public, I think, is there who's never seen it before. They're going to want to see it because it's something new. It's something awesome. They've heard everything about it. But I think like they're one and done, right? They ride Smuggler's Run. They ride Rise of the Resistance. Okay, that was cool. I don't really ever need to go back there. So I think just maybe if they find a way to incorporate that OG trilogy and those characters, that will be something that will bring the non-hardcore Star Wars fan back for repeated visits.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I think it's also difficult when the trilogy that Disney made ended so poorly. I think by and large, I think that's the consensus.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
And with all of these, millions of dollars that have been spent on all these props for Kylo Ren and all these different things, that's something you can't just walk back on as an organization. But I think everybody's seen probably at least one Star Wars movie, like in the general public. Like if you're not a hardcore fan, probably you've seen the original one or you've seen The Empire Strikes Back. I'm sure that there are plenty of people who haven't, but I think by and large, the most common people have seen the original, and most people have seen Episode 5.
Yeah. Yep. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tough.
Before we transition away from Star Wars, we got a couple more minutes before we invite some other guests on. And I wanted to talk to you about, so fresh and hot off the press, Episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett just landed Wednesday. So today is Thursday, and you'll be hearing this show on Friday, December 31st, if you listen day one. If not, Happy New Year! So I have not watched it yet. I will not tell the people why I haven't watched it yet. Yes, I will. Because we talked for like 2 weeks ago and you were like, do we watch it at 3 a.m.? And I was kind of like, ha, ha, ha. I'm an old man. I can't do that anymore. And then he texted me at 3 a.m. showing him that he's watching, but he was always going to come over later that night.
I was sleepy.
Nope. Didn't. Someone got up at 3 a.m. and then I was like, I'm not texting him. I'm not begging him to come over. I'm not doing it.
That's the worst part of being on the East Coast.
So I have not watched it yet. We will watch it together, holding hands and swinging in the park.
Right after this, right?
I don't know what that means. So I don't know. We talked about no spoilers or whatever. If you don't want to hear anything about this, Ryan's just going to give his thoughts of what he thinks. And then I'm sure you do know. How many episodes are there going to be?
I don't know.
Okay.
I used to have this podcast where I would like do a ton of research and I would find out these crazy details. But as of right now, I'm a civilian and just along for the ride.
I wonder what happened. No. Okay.
Banished.
So, where do you think it was? Because you told me how you felt about the first episode, and that's okay. I'm not going to let you share.
Yeah.
But briefly, is it setting up for something good? Do you think it's going to go off in a great place? What did you think?
I think we'll see the payoff in 8 weeks from now, probably when we see that final episode. This episode, if you are not a big Star Wars fan, probably felt like a snoozer.
Okay.
It was almost entirely just like a backstory of the character and how did we get to this moment where we met him in the second season of The Mandalorian. And what it did was there wasn't a whole lot of, I would say, really good action.
Okay.
I really wouldn't. In fact, I would Boba Fett gets his butt whooped really quickly in the episode for literally no reason. You're just like, we grew up. I mean, did you see Empire in the theater?
Yes.
Yes. You grew up thinking this guy is the dude.
Yeah.
He will take you out.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets whooped by some lame people. Yeah. So what I think really happened is they started off with some quick fan service. So the episode starts with him as we see him coming out of Return of the Jedi. When he gets swallowed up by the monster. And
because they've got how did he survive?
So the episode basically starts, he's in the belly of the beast and he just rockets his way out and climbs out and
I guess that makes sense.
You laugh, but I mean
he did have a jetpack strapped to his back. You would think I'm going to hit this button. Let's go.
People have been theorizing this for over 30 years.
Wow.
That's
dedication.
There has been so much fan fiction. There's so much fan art. You can go back 15, 20 years ago of him crawling out of the Sarlacc, the monster. And so we see that and it lasts 2 minutes. You're like, oh my gosh, it actually happened. And so the rest of it is really, really slow moving.
So they're building.
It felt like that.
They're building.
Character development. Is that what it is? Introducing characters?
Yeah, no, barely. No. Right. You might see one or two people.
They didn't really introduce very much.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it was super slow.
So, here's the thing that I have. I'm very opinionated on Disney and their direct-to-consumer TV content, and it feels like the Wednesday shows are it's not that big of a deal. That might be a harsh opinion, but the second I was like, oh, this is going to be a Wednesday show, don't have too much of an expectation. That's how I felt going into this. Right. I think about the Boba Fett of the 80s and the character that you saw. Everything about that character spirit, all of it, that lives inside the Mandalorian character.
Yeah.
That he is this generation's true Boba Fett. This guy is totally different.
Okay.
Totally different.
It's like Boba Fett's weird uncle.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be, I think my prediction for this is going to be the darkest Star Wars content you're going to get.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm interested in that.
That's what I think.
Rated R. Rated.
I don't know about that.
I know it's never going to happen.
I don't know.
Thanks for being here.
That. And it's 7
been such a pleasure.
Oh, 7 episodes.
Look at that. Somebody did some Googling.
So here's the thing, man. This show would not exist if it weren't for you. So thanks for putting up with me. And I know you'd still be here if it was something that you could do. And so thanks for coming along this journey, and thanks for coming back to help us celebrate a year. I love you, man.
Yeah.
It's truly been a pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm super glad that, you had to bow out.
Well, you can bring me on as a Star Wars consultant.
Wow, there you go.
And or Marvel.
I like it. I like it.
That's great. Okay. So I know I went out of order, and that was my fault. But while we were talking about parks, I meant to bring up this one bit of news. So one of our surprise guests tonight is actually at Walt Disney World. And so while they were there, I think this news broke. I don't think he was given the survey, but some people are getting a survey about the 50th. And so if you have not listened to our 50th episode, stop right now, hit pause, and go watch it. And then come back, or listen to it, and then come back and hear this. Because interesting is a lot of the stuff that we said, because again, I don't sugarcoat things. I think both of these guys can know that way. But I will say, like, I do love Disney, and I want this to be a positive show. Like, obviously, wouldn't have an annual pass. I wouldn't spend the thousands of dollars that I do a year to go, which is just really my excuse to see Brandon and Krista. But I obviously. We have to say it, obsessed with Disney parks mostly. But all this to say, I try to be fair, but not be like, so you guys really screwed this up. Although that's almost a fair statement, but I didn't say that. Anyway, let's talk about this. So real quick, before we bring on our next guest, this is the survey that is going around right now. So here's how it starts off. Which, if any, of these reasons best described why you felt the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary celebration was below your expectations? So let's take a time out there before we even get into the questions. So basically, this is just a list of sentences that you can select or deselect. It's not asking for your opinion. They ask this question and then list a bunch of sentences that you either, by checking the mark, agree with or disagree with, or don't have an opinion on. But the fact that they have to, right, I know Brandon knows where I'm going with this, because it says, yes, which of any of these reasons best describe why you felt the Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration was below your expectations? I don't get a lot of surveys, and when I'm at the parks, I'm on vacation, and I love the sweet cast members that try to stop me, but I just keep going. But I don't know how many of these, because I've seen a few online over the years, they're not typically negatively focused. Is that a fair statement? Like, they're not typically like, hey,
yeah, that's absolutely fair.
You did not like, it's almost like, hey, what do you think about, it's more of like, what do you think? What would you think if Disney did this? And they'll talk about some things like if they're going to change something in the park. Anyway, so let me go through, I'm just going to hammer through these so we can get to our next guest. But again, these are why you felt the 50th anniversary was below your expectations. The fireworks shows / nighttime spectaculars didn't celebrate the 50th anniversary. I don't agree with that. I feel like they did, because the whole theme of what they did was celebrating their birthday, right? I mean, I would agree. I would not have checked that one. This one, if I could have checked 78 times, maybe 78 and a half times, I would have. The celebration didn't celebrate classic Disney and lacked nostalgia. This is, I think, what I kind of harped on the most, Brandon. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, 100% absolutely fair. There's in the news show Enchantment, there's nothing to guide you towards 50 years of Walt Disney World. It's basically a Disney Plus fireworks show.
Now, Ryan, you landed there about a month before this kicked off, and we were there opening day and week, and it was great. Like, I had a great time. It didn't affect the trip at all, but I constantly kept asking myself, a place like Disney, who is steeped in history, like, I get it. Like, I'm not one of those that's like, don't ever change a ride. Don't ever change this. I understand that, like, things have to evolve and things have to change. Businesses have to keep moving forward. They've got to find ways to continue to make money. However, there was zero to do with anything about celebrating the 50 years of that park in any way, shape, or form. And so that's why I think that was the best question, or the best one, saying that to me, it lacked. It just didn't have any. But I don't want to say lack nostalgia, but it didn't celebrate their past. That's I think how I mentioned it. So
yeah.
When I saw Happily Ever After, I was blown away. I honestly, when I watched it, I got emotional. I totally had a moment where I teared up. It was when Mufasa spoke, and that's okay. that whole remember who you are.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful.
It's just thinking about those things. And I haven't seen this new one through the lens of YouTube or my own eyes, obviously. Ooh. But I don't know anybody. Like, I know people that I work with also that are crazy Disney fans. I don't know one person, not one person, that is like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Everyone's like, this sucks. Bring back the old stuff. That is the common consensus across the common Disney experience goer.
Okay, let me power through these. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that just reminded me of that meme you sent me a couple weeks ago that was like, Enchantment would be a great fireworks show if Happily Ever After never existed.
Yes, exactly. You wouldn't know. Like, your innocent ignorance would be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. They're lighting up Main Street and there's stuff on the castle and there's fireworks. This is the best thing ever.
I wonder if that's to appease to the generation of children that don't really have those experiences like us, quote unquote, Disney adults.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hard to tell.
Yes,
okay.
Probably so.
I'll offer my brief opinions on some of these questions, but not as much as that, because that to me was the biggest thing that hit home. The special food and beverage offerings were limited. I don't think that's fair for us to say anything about. Like, this is an 18-month celebration. We were there the first 4 days. Like, certainly there's going to be more and more coming. It was not special enough for a 50th anniversary celebration. I don't know that I was. I don't know. I
think that just goes back to, like, it didn't feel any different than any other day.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that it was super crowded and we just got a commemorative map. Other than that, it felt like a normal day in Disney World.
Crowds made it difficult to enjoy the celebration. I think that first week was pretty low crowds, except for day one, because I think people are waiting for more things to open throughout that 18-month celebration. The merchandise selection variety was limited. I think they did a good job at the start. Like, definitely several more articles of clothing, and of course, tons of more merch have come out as it's grown. You know, we are in the middle of a shipping crisis, so I can understand that, like, even some of the stuff that they might have had day one probably were dealing with the things that every company's dealing with in the world. But I could see why people resellers were disappointed by what might have been there. There were long lines to purchase a special food and beverage offerings. Yes. Yes, but only because of the way that they did it. And so I don't think this continued after day one or maybe opening week. I have no idea. I didn't really go back down there, but there was special merchandise, including the pass holder 50th anniversary shirt that was in, what is that back there by Dumbo and Casey's?
It was like Big Top Gifts.
Yeah,
now Big Top Gifts is open again.
Yes.
But it was Big Top Gifts.
But that was all closed down, and it was through this. You scan a QR code, and then you're like trying to get in the digital line. It crashed the servers completely, and then they would open it up, and they would open it up for like 45 to 90 seconds, and then it would close down again. I just happened to be there, but like I literally spent the first 2 hours of that morning trying to figure out how to get in there, where, I mean, I get it. I know they didn't want a 7-hour line, but that didn't go well. It just didn't go well.
No.
Commemorative entertainment for the celebration was limited 100%. Now, some of that I'm sure is COVID.
Non-existent.
Yeah. The decor was limited. I think they did a good job with the decor. Yep. It seemed like just another day in the park. That's what Brandon said, so I know he would have checked that one. It was not as good as other Disney celebrations. I haven't been to a major one except for the 45th, and that was kind of like, that's a weird number. I did not go to the Diamond Celebration at Disneyland, but that seemed amazing. But again, that was the original park. I mean, that was Walt's park. Yeah. I don't know.
When I was there.
And on that one, I think maybe they talking about Christmas celebration and Halloween celebration. True. Like, we talked about it a lot. Like it's a crime right now that at least like the Christmas time fireworks for the party were 1,000 times better than the 50th anniversary fireworks.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
know, maybe
That's
when
true.
you're looking at celebrations, maybe that's what that
Yeah, that's
asks.
fair. That's fair. It was difficult to find the special food and beverage offerings. That may have been the case. That's never been my jam, so I don't even have anything 50th related. There were long lines to purchase merchandise. I didn't feel that day. Did you? But we spent most of our day just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, there were long lines.
Yeah.
There was that fight for those Starbucks tumblers in
Which
the
they
morning,
had 80 million of.
punching each other and breaking shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we walked in at like 5:00 and they just handed us two. So like, I didn't experience that.
The 50th anniversary merch I wanted was unavailable. I'm sure that was a big thing for a lot of people. The prices for the 50th merch were high. I would agree with that, but I would agree with that for everything Disney merch is high.
I was very unimpressed because when I went, it went about a month before it, and I saw a lot of 50th anniversary stuff all over the place. I'm sure I didn't see too much less than what you experienced.
They had day one stuff that was not, you couldn't just get it day one, but like they didn't release it till that day.
I couldn't believe how much I saw where I was like, Like it was just like it felt like it was overproduced amount of stuff where it's like this doesn't feel special.
No, it's just like, it has 50th, buy it.
Yes, exactly. I think about
as evidenced by our. No, go ahead.
I think about what you two are feeling like with this 50th anniversary, and you're feeling very meh. Like what you all are experiencing is what the real hardcore Star Wars fans have been feeling about with these like trilogies.
Yeah.
Disney, I promise you, is in no way trying to recreate your own childhood. It's trying to create the childhood of whoever people are children right now.
Yeah.
And so they can match it at a later time.
Yeah. My kids will care. My kids could care less about the original trilogy, but Zay loves Rey. I mean, so this is what it is.
Rey is Bay.
That's right. The fireworks and nighttime spectaculars were not as good as previous shows. Not all of them, but I would say definitely pulling happily ever after.
Illuminations.
Yeah.
You and your
no. I'm
illuminations.
just going to talk about I don't even know what the new one's called in Magic Kingdom.
Enchantment.
Yeah, that's just not. It's great if happily ever after didn't exist.
Yeah, the one at Epcot's amazing.
Yeah.
That show is
harmonious
fantastic.
as wow. Did you go to see that?
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't have existed when you went. I'm an idiot. All right, and then there was another page which was a couple of different questions. How did the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary celebration compare to your expectations? And it was just about what was expected, better than expected, worse than expected. Now, this question is similar to what they've done in the past. So this is the only, and that's it. Oh, well, there was other pages, but that first page really was the home run for us. So it's interesting to I don't think there's any other way to spin this other than say it's interesting to see them acknowledge this. That's surprising.
I have a question for both of you.
Go.
Would you all have preferred a much better experience by your own standards? You can define the terms however you want it to be. Would you have paid more money to have a more specialized experience?
Day one, yes. I think that was the biggest frustration. Like day one should have been you've got 5 attractions that are that are all behind schedule that are gonna open way into your 50th anniversary celebration. Some of the fault is not theirs, I understand that. But they had all of the suits there. This is my biggest complaint. So here I'm back on my pedestal. They had all the suits there that week for the opening thing. When Disneyland just opened back up for the pandemic, I understand they were closed significantly longer than Walt Disney World. All of the brass was on the streets. People were bursting into tears because both Bobs were there. Damaro was there. All of these Disney execs were on Main Street just, welcome back. We're so glad to see you. We're so happy you're here. Now we're at the 50th anniversary celebration, and the night before, so the last day of September, they invited all of the vloggers, all of the bloggers, all of the media to come, and that's where they did the big dedication. So for 2,200 people instead of all of the real people that were there to experience day one of the 50. I didn't understand that. Now, I think the Bobs were at the park that day. I never saw one exec that day in the park. Did you? And
no,
like on October 1st.
I think he was walking around when we were up at the when they opened and did the, I'll give it air quotes, stage show at the beginning of the day that lasted all of 18 seconds.
Yeah.
I think the Bobs were up there. But I mean, even something as simple as that, they had all the characters come out for a simple stage show when the park opened in their 50th anniversary outfits. That would have been a perfect time for the Bobs to be like, we welcome you to a fantastic 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. And it just felt like a crowded, normal park day. So I mean, I think your question was, would I have paid more for a more specialized experience? I think I would have. Like, if they would have had a fireworks show that was just for the first, like, it doesn't have to be this one that runs every night, but like a ridiculous, like, combined 4th of July and New Year's and the Christmas party, like, blowout fireworks show, to celebrate the actual 50th anniversary, I would have paid more money for something like that. And then maybe stage shows throughout the day where like one of the execs come out, or and they give a speech and things like that. So I would have definitely paid more for that experience.
I know,
I would too. And I wonder, this might not exist as a thought inside y'all's heads. It probably does, I don't know, but I wonder how many people just happened to just show up at the park that day, or how many people just planned to just show up and just thought it was a normal day, and they're like, oh, it's the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World.
Well, I can tell you it didn't happen, because that was still big on reservations, and that was obviously the hardest reservation to get. So if you didn't have a reservation, you couldn't just show up that day. But I'm sure there's people that made reservations that had zero idea that, I mean, they exist. Like, it's so funny. We've talked about this on the show before, about how, like, you could always tell the people that don't know Disney, and that's because they would get there, right? Like, we would order all of our magic bands and have all of our stuff, and they would show up, and you always knew that, like, dad or mom didn't know how to plan, because all 4 of them had gray magic bands. You could just the basic magic band, and you could always tell the non-Disney people. And now, like, you don't know anymore. So it's so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's transition here. We have our first guest that's going to join us by pre-recorded video. We love this guy, and he was so kind to send us a video to help us celebrate today. And so let's just show everyone. Here we go.
What's up, everyone? Rob Fuzz here. Just wanted to wish Another Disney Podcast a happy 1-year anniversary. I can't believe it's been 1 year already. You guys are so awesome. I wish I could be there with you guys. But I'm here in spirit, and I wanted to just send my best, and I can't wait to be on the show again. And congratulations on 1 year. So awesome. Have a great 2022, and hopefully I'll be on with you guys soon. Thanks.
Rob Fuzz, thank you, buddy. We are a huge fan of you, and so thankful for when I remember finding you and sending Brandon the link to your channel. I was like, look at this dude. Look at all these retro rides he has. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who Rob Fuzz is, Rob Fuzz runs a YouTube channel. And he has a few shows that he does, but what he's most definitely known for is he has these weekly all request shows of nothing but retro rides. And so what this is he grew up with his family going to Disney, and he always had a camcorder, and he filmed every ride you could imagine, from Horizons to Kitchen Cabaret to, all of those rides from the 80s and 90s, he had them. And it is just unreal to watch. And I just love, and he's like, so it's live. So he's not physically like talking in there. He's just playing, and he'll, in the chat, you just request what you want to see, and then he'll drum it up and play it. And so, Rob, we're a huge fan of what you do. His YouTube channel is youtube.com/Rob Fuzz. He is an amazing character. We're hoping to do more with him in 2022. I know we'll have him on, but Rob and I are trying to brew some things together. He's a top-notch guy, big Disney fan, supporter of other Disney shows, and his stuff is just, it's unlike anything else. Like, I wish that I was rich enough to have afforded a camcorder growing up. I would have done all that, because now video is what I do for a living. I don't know.
Yeah, we absolutely love Rob, and he's such a huge supporter of our show.
Yeah.
It was great. Dave got to be on Rob's show, one of Rob's shows, when we were at Magic Kingdom for the 50th on the actual October the 1st. So he's always willing to help us out. He's always willing to help anybody out. Fantastic guy. Thanks for those words of encouragement, Rob, and we definitely look forward to doing some stuff with you here in the new year.
Yeah, so awesome. Okay, let's bring on some dear friends of ours who are actually podcasters in their own right.
They are.
And so let's dial up our great friends. And I'm not going to spoil it. We're just going to bring them in. And we're going to play a couple of fun games with these guys. So here we go. It's Disney Assembled!
Hey, it's us.
You guys are our favorite father-daughter podcast.
Okay.
The
My
best
parole
ones.
officer is running around.
Hey, how was Christmas?
Well, how was it? You tell
Cool.
us.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was good.
My mom was like, "You got one thing," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she was like, "You and your brother got the same thing," and I was like, "Okay, did we get a dog?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Are we going to Disney World?" And she was like, "No." And then
Oh.
she ended up just, like lying to us, and I got a camera, which was
Yeah.
cool. But whatever.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
That's
excited.
super cool.
It's good. It's good to
No,
be
like-
home and
Yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
friends, her mom is like a photographer, and I was like, "Oh, like I got a camera for Christmas," and she was like, "What kind? What does it do?" Like, and then she'd ask me all these like questions, like
Takes
I don't
pictures.
know, like it
It's a
takes pictures.
It's a black one
Yeah.
that takes pictures.
Yeah, it's a black one.
It
Exactly.
freezes time, saves it on a card,
sure does all that.
and we look
It's been
great.
good. It's been good. We've actually caught up on some Disney Plus stuff and
Nice. Yeah.
a little
Nice.
bit here and there.
Yeah, you work in the school system, so I imagine you've had a nice break of time off, yeah?
It's been good. Yeah.
Good.
So it's hard to get out of routines. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in the
get
school
that.
system, so I
Do you work there,
Well
ma'am?
played.
And then, of
Could've been a
course,
break from her, I think, so.
we're
No.
happy New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
New Year's
Yeah.
Eve. I think that's
Dave, I have something, if I may.
Please jump in.
You know, I think
Please
about,
do.
we've been talking about, this is like the year podcast, right? Like a year ago, we started this podcast, and I think when we wind back the clock and think about all that time, I think the time where this podcast really stepped up its game, the clear definitive moment, was when we got to hang out with Troy and Mimi for the first time with Disney Assembled. I think it was our first time doing something like that
with other
specifically,
podcasters.
with
yeah,
other podcasters
who had all this experience,
and it
and
felt
we were
like
so green.
It felt so magical,
Yeah.
if I could use that term. And I think the energy between the three of us at the time
Yeah.
and you two, it was just next level. And it just felt like, wow. Like that for me was when it hit, like, oh my gosh, this is a podcast. Like, it's working.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
people that we didn't know
means a
came on
lot.
our show.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's
That
really
was
nice
the
because when
bonding
a year ago when we joined you, we were looking at each other going, we have no idea what we're doing, and
no, yeah,
Nobody
that was
does.
it feels good to find other
Right.
people who don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
So
That was the WandaVision era.
Yes,
that was
you
also
guys-
my peak.
You hit it so well. You hit it so well. I had so many questions about pod. I asked you, what do you think about this? And what do you think about this? And you're like, all of your answers seemed so seasoned, and there was no hesitation. You were never like,
Just hit the
I
red
don't know.
button and it makes sounds sometimes.
That's right.
Like, I
That's
don't-
right. That's right.
Actually,
there are no shortages of opinions on our show.
Yeah.
So
I love it. And it was so
when your
great.
when your co-host is 16, there's tons of opinions.
Yes.
More opinions than you
Yeah.
can fit in an episode. So there
That's
you
how
go.
Ryan felt about me, because his co-host was 16.
I was going to say, when your co-host is
it feels like there's a
pushing
Taylor
50,
Swift song in
there's
here
not
somewhere.
a shortage of opinions.
Yeah,
Oh.
then we have double the number of opinions on the show.
Yes.
That's right.
Over 50 and under 18.
There you
So
go.
There we go.
Boom.
Oh.
Well,
It's
it's
all
so
good.
Just
good
like
to
us.
see. It's so good to see your beautiful faces. Okay. So we briefly so you didn't have like this kind of like shock face when we said this, but we wanted to play a quick game while we had you on. I feel like you guys invited us on for your, what was it? Was it March Madness? It really wasn't March Madness, but it was like that.
It was the Disney Rivals tournament.
Yes.
We had a hero rival and went head to head.
Yeah.
We spent 4 days apparently going through that one night.
Dave and I each had a birthday during that show.
That's true.
Though. Like, you make these brackets and they have like 40 pairs and like,
But it was so good.
Like, that is going to take so long.
It was so fun though.
Ryan, I was 27 when we started, and now I'm 47. So it was.
I think I was 27 when we started.
No, actually.
At the halfway point, Mimi was filling out college applications and signing up for her 401ks and stuff.
Oh god!
Like, I actually live in Europe now. Like, this is a hologram.
That's right.
I'm gone. Like,
Technology has come so far.
It's the year 2076.
There's a Spider-Man reference in there somewhere.
Yes, gotta be. Okay, so here's the deal. We didn't want to shock you in case, because this is a weird one, but there are 5. Oh, sorry, we're beginning the game. There are 5 places at Walt Disney World that children are not allowed to go. I didn't even know that was a thing until I came upon this. And then I was talking to Brandon and I was like, we should play games with our guests. And then I was like, let's do this one with Troy and Mimi. And so what we're going to do to just simply set this up, I'm going to list 3 places at Walt Disney World, anywhere on property. 2 of them are going to be places that kids are not allowed. And one of them is going to be where they are allowed. And we're going to see if you guys can guess. Okay. So let me look. I'm looking through my list here. Let's see. I want to do something that's more like kind of obvious. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use the one that I could never say. Brandon will have to help me out. It's La Cava del
Tequila.
Yeah. So La Cava del Tequila. That's one. The other one is the Edison. So the Edison is at Disney Springs. And then the last one we'll do Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. So those are your 3. So of those 3, 2 of them children are not allowed there, but one place they are. What is your best guess?
What would
What do
you
you
think?
You have opinions. What does that first one mean in
Is she
English?
Googling it right now?
No. We're phone free. We're phone free.
I
So what's that first one mean in English? You're the Spanish.
honestly don't even remember what they said.
The Casa
Something
de
about tequila.
Casa de
Cava
Tequila.
de-
Yeah.
La Cava de Tequila.
There it is.
It's
What
at
does
the
tequila
Mexico Pavilion
Yeah.
Right.
in Epcot.
Okay, well, I think that's the one where the kids can go because we
Why?
were in the Mexican pavilion
Yeah,
and
but
there
we
were
weren't in
little
that-
creepy crawlies everywhere, like getting things sticky and
Yeah, but we weren't in that part of that
Screaming.
pavilion, though. They had those little shops.
The whole pavilion is like this big. Like, I don't know what you mean. Like,
They have like different shops
Yes,
inside.
this is a specific tequila bar where you go to grab flights of tequila and crazy margarita drinks.
okay, yeah, okay.
All right, so there's that in Trader Sam's and in the Edison.
And then the Edison. Yes.
We have 2 of those where kids cannot go.
The Edison's like in one of the
It's
Disney
in
Springs.
Disney
Disney
Springs.
Springs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so I guess that one makes the most logical sense because I guess you can keep kids out of parts of hotels, but like, no, you can't. Not at
Yeah,
Disney.
I think the first one they can't go in,
Yeah.
and I think
Can you
I think
imagine being
Trader
in Disney
Sam's.
Springs? Like, can you imagine being in Disney Springs and just seeing like a bouncer? Like, no, like
I
go.
think they can go in the Edison.
Take your
No,
little
no,
kid and
children,
get
like
out.
go away. Like what? Like
I don't know.
no.
I've
got-
never been to the Edison, so I
They
don't
got
know.
tiny kitty bouncers at Disney Springs.
You guys
Boston
can't come in
is
here.
up the door.
I like to think they have a really tough Mickey to scare kids out of having a childhood.
I've seen them. They're at Times Square. They are creepy.
Right. I'm just wondering
Well
when
played.
Kingpin Bob Chapek is going to make appearances in Avengers Camp. All right, so
With his Hawaiian
we
t-shirt.
have to remind people who owns this town. Right? I'm gonna say the first one, the
first one,
tequila
no kids.
thing, no kids, and Trader Sam's, no kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but kids can go in the. That's what we say. The kids can go in the Edison. That's what we'll say.
Final answer.
All right, those are
Final
answer. Very interesting answers. I think the correct answer is.
The truth is, I don't think I've ever been in any of those. So.
Yeah, we thought. Well, there were some more random ones, and I'll share them with you at the end.
The only one that children are not allowed to, or the only one that children are allowed to go in, would be La Cava de Tequila.
So close. Okay, so let me read the list. So these are 5 places that kids are not allowed at Disney World. Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. Obviously, that's literally just a bar. And then
the cantina.
So jelly rolls. Do y'all know about jelly rolls?
I've
it's on the boardwalk, and it's basically a dueling piano bar, which like I've been to those are super fun. Yeah, no kids there. And then right next to it is the Atlantic Dance Hall. That is not so 2 places on property. I've never been to either one of them. I've walked past them hundreds of times. And then the Edison, you're not allowed to have in there. It's I don't know why, because it's mostly a restaurant, and like after dark, I feel like it gets a little bit more risque, but apparently not. Yeah. And then the other one that I wanted to throw in there, but I felt like it would be too obvious, but I didn't realize this. The spas. Kids are not allowed in spas.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it all restaurants.
I just had never considered.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other these ones were they technically.
That's so funny. Like Mimi's underage. That's so funny. Let's make fun of that. Like
no, your brother will be.
Mimi is 16. That's so funny, you guys. Okay.
It's all good.
Anyway.
Okay.
Good game. We know nothing about Disney. Listen to our show, please.
No, it was supposed to trip you up. And then there were some other ones that says now these few places kids are allowed, but you will hardly ever see them. So Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, which is based after the pilot in the Indiana Jones movies, La Cava del Tequila. I always say tequila. Yeah. And then the Nomad Lounge, which I never even heard of. Well, I'd never heard of that. And Brandon was like, it's in Animal Kingdom. And then the Enchanted Rose in the Grand Floridian. Again, kids are allowed to be there, but those other places kind of have not really kid-friendly menus. But anyway, we thought we would just play a fun, quick game.
That's great. Thanks for doing that. It was lots of fun. We appreciate it. Look, if you don't want kids in there, just don't serve chicken nuggets and you're good.
See, that was the point of. Do y'all remember that millennial lady, like a few years back, who was like,
I believe
trying to ban adults from Disney? Do y'all remember that lady?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, what was she
childless millennials.
Yes, I saw all the shirts in the parks. We are childless millennials.
I'm one of them.
That's so funny. Like, go away. Like, you're annoying.
Going to Disney without
someone's got to
kids
pay for the trip
is amazing.
I was about to say that's all I've ever known, but no, I went one time with you and your daughter.
But our daughter, she bled Disney growing up for sure. Growing up, she's 11, but you know, back when she was growing up. Now she's
wearing jeans now.
Now she's 11 and wears jeans all the time. Like I don't know what happened. Okay, so for those people who have not listened to our show that much, will you please unpack what is Disney Assembled? We want to know about who you guys are and what you do.
Sure, go for it.
This is always my question.
Hold on. Okay,
you're good at answering it.
Disney Assembled is a father-daughter podcast. My dad. I'm his daughter. Wow, who could have thought? Anyway, we talk about Disney. Yeah. Correct.
We started our podcast almost 2 years ago. We're coming up on our
quarantine project.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll be coming up on episode 100 pretty soon, actually.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was such a
2 episodes
plug.
away.
That was such a shameless plug.
There's no shame.
This is their
No
1 year
shame.
anniversary.
No shame.
No. There's no shame.
We're coming up on our anniversary, but we started during the pandemic, just talking to each other and wanting to hang out and do some things to stay relevant in our lives and each other's lives, and so we just decided to try this podcast thing and see if any other parents or people who have kids at heart or nieces or nephews or grandparents and grandchildren if they get some appreciation for their relationship with their other person from listening to us, and great, good stuff. So that's why we do it. And, every once in a while we get a nice feedback from people thanking us. And so, we're just trying to spread the joy and enjoy having that time together each week.
Also, it's a solid 40 minutes to talk about conspiracy theories. And that
I mean, that's a win. That's all the win.
Yeah, that's 100% a win.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys are frozen right now, so we'll.
Yeah.
There you go. They're back.
They're back.
And they're gone.
Frozen?
Yeah.
They're back? Okay.
But we can hear you. There you are.
Yeah, we can hear you. But I was going to
Back?
say,
Good.
I agree with Ryan. I agree with Dave. Coming into our podcast later, not being there from the very beginning, I had seen you guys on the show. And I think, like Ryan said, one of the first times that I got to be on the show with you guys, I really felt like I was part of the podcast community. And I love your show. Like, I love listening to your show. It was so fun to be in that Rivals tournament. And I just look forward to visiting with you guys, at any opportunity that we can. So I wanted to say thank you to you guys just for, welcoming me, welcoming us. And I hope we can continue to do some cool things in the next year. But thank you guys.
I'm so excited. Y'all's podcast is one of my favorites to go on. Like, Papa's like, so Dave texted me, like, yep, okay, like, whatever.
It's time to part.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You guys have been fantastic and
much
great
fun.
friends for us too.
Congratulations to 1 year.
I know. I can't believe it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people quit because I don't know, for whatever reasons, and you guys have stuck through it, and it's been great. Mimi's right. We every Friday morning when the new episode is up, when on our way to school, I bring her to school. We put it on and listen, and it's been a great way to start our weekends off.
Thanks
and
so much.
we appreciate your friendship, and even Dave, when we did our impromptu trip in July as a family. You picked up the phone and answered some questions for us about, navigating the parks during the summer. And so, that's been great. We really do appreciate it. And we do look forward to continuing to see you guys and talk to you, as the years go by.
Well, thanks.
We're hoping to get down there again, at some point in the not too distant future. So
awesome. When you come, make sure you send a message so I know that you're here.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was going to say, as soon as we know when we're coming, and if we're able to
I love it.
meet up, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. I'll finally have someone to ride Everest with me.
Oh,
There you
yes.
go.
Yes.
Then you can't come before April because it's closed until April.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, so here's the biggest thing. Brandon's better at the numbers than I am, but I think this is our 50th episode. Is that correct, Brandon?
Yes.
Yes.
I
So
think it is 50. Yep.
in a year, I'm blown away because how many weeks are in a year?
52.
52.
We only missed 2 weeks. That's crazy. I mean, we missed more than that, but I guess we had like extra uploads or whatever. I don't know. But like to think that like as crazy as life is that we uploaded that regularly, I think speaks volumes to the trap that I have Brandon in now and Ryan got out of.
I don't know. I'm feeling sucked back into the vortex.
Guys, we can't thank you enough. Again, Disney Assembled is their show. They're at Disney Assembled on social media. Big fans of theirs. I love their unique take. Like nothing Brandon and I do is unique. Two friends talk about Disney. Wow, that's original. But I love the father-daughter aspect. And they are definitely creative in some of their show ideas. We did a whole March Madness tournament, and their Rivals thing was way better than our March Madness tournament.
It was also way longer.
I know, I loved it. Like I would shameless begging statement. I would absolutely come back and do that multi-hour show again in a heartbeat. That was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Your
much
check's
fun.
in the mail. Thank you very much.
Hey, we hope you guys have a great new year. Thanks for coming on and being a part of our special show as we celebrate a year. Ryan, this is mostly your fault that this happened.
No, it was your fault when you said, hey, it's coming this way.
Congratulations, guys. Ryan, it's good to see you again.
Yes,
and
I hope we see each other
congratulations on
soon.
1 year. Enjoy it. And to all your listeners out there. You guys have a great taste. These guys do a great job every week. And tell all your friends about them. And they deserve even more listens than they already get. So,
well, thanks,
awesome.
man. Hey,
Thanks,
happy
guys.
New Year. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. And Troy, I think you'll set your routine pretty quickly.
very good.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Man, I love those guys. They're been friends of the show, gosh, for a long time, and they're fun.
Yeah.
I love how Mimi, you can definitely tell the dad-daughter thing there. She just
Yes. You can definitely tell that she is a teenager.
Yes, I love it. And she spoils us every time. She's like, I love your podcast. And so even if we didn't like them, and we love them, we would love them regardless because she's a fan of the show. No, but they're super fun. It's such a unique perspective. Such a cool thing. Teenage daughter and dad doing a show together about Disney. It's so good. They're pretty much weekly as well. Huge fans of those beautiful humans. Okay. Last but not least, we have one more guest.
One more guest. And I gotta say, I kind of feel like I'm the stepmom, right? Like there was this nice, beautiful family established before I came in, and now I'm like the stepmom. So we got to bring back the original mom, and that's weird. I don't know why I'm calling
Why is the youngest person the mom?
I don't know.
It's just that kind of family. It's
I love
the 21st century.
Boom.
But I want to bring in this guy so we can bring back the original threesome, the original triumvirate.
Here they are.
Let's welcome
Hey!
Mr.
Oh my
Bradshaw.
gosh.
Matthew Bradshaw.
Wait a second. Where are you?
Jungle?
You knew we were planning this. You knew we were going to do this. Where are you?
Is there a bobcat
Are you
nearby?
shopping with your Christmas money?
Wait.
Whoa.
What?
What are those?
Okay.
You might have
So
heard of this place.
somebody went to Disney.
It's called
Just-
Busch Gardens. You ever been here before?
Yes.
I think that's just a photograph.
Which is
that
weird
you're
because
like,
they have Christmas Town right now. No, we knew Matthew was gallivanting off, and he still agreed to take time out of his
busy schedule,
his holiday trip, to come be a part of.
It's okay. It's lovely.
Here's the original three. Hey guys, how do we disconnect Brandon so we can just do our show?
I can.
boys are back in town.
God, turn that guy off.
Oh man, thanks for coming on our special show. And we figured out Brandon keeps up with the numbers better than I do. This is our 50th episode as well, which is mind-boggling to think
baby.
that when it comes to 52 weeks in a year, we managed to get 50 episodes out. Like, that surprises me.
Yeah.
If it would have been like 36, I'd have been like, hey, we did pretty good.
Do you remember? You know what? That's funny. That just brought back a memory. Do you remember when we were like trying to push the first episode, and we were so adamant about it being like January 1st or something, and
Yes.
it didn't get pushed January 1st, and we went to pieces.
I was weird about
and
that.
by we, I mean you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this one's going to come out December 31st. So it's technically not been a year, but it has.
We made it.
It has been.
Scrap it.
Has been.
Matthew, tell us about your experience.
Yeah, first we need a
at
weather
Walt
report.
Disney World.
Weather reports
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Weather report.
Yeah, we start with the weather report.
Winds in the east.
That's all you did there.
Nice, cool, crisp, mid 70s. Lovely out.
Okay.
Not
All right.
rainy at all.
Not rainy at
All
all.
right.
Okay.
All right. How's
yeah.
your trip been?
Trip has been okay so far. I've been taking it really slow. Been spending a lot of time at the hotel doing nothing, but also spent a little bit of time Animal Kingdom yesterday. Tuesday I went to Magic Kingdom, and then I went to Epcot. Haven't watched Enchantment tonight. Haven't gone to Harmonious yet this trip, but it'll happen probably tomorrow night. We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question.
Avoiding.
No, go.
yes, go.
Avoiding what? Go.
Oh, avoiding the huge, gigantic crowds like the plague. Well, quite literally. No, it's been crazy. I mean, I watched Enchantment from like over near the Purple Wall tonight, and it was a surprisingly great experience. There was nobody over there.
Perfect.
Nice. That's good to
Yes.
know. That's
Yeah.
good to know for future.
An introvert's dream of Disney right there. There's your sneak
I
tip.
love it. I love it.
There's your sneak tip. Well, it's not that far from the dessert area, so that's kind of a cool perspective over there. Of course, don't they get moved to like the hub grass now? Isn't there a special hub grass? Well, when they used to do this, I don't even know if this is a thing anymore.
Well, there used to be the Fast Pass area over there, and I think sometimes they would end up over in the dessert party would end up over there, but I'm not sure if they do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. COVID life.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the most important question. What are you doing for New Year's Eve? Like, what's your plan for New Year's Eve tomorrow night?
Great question. Still trying to determine whether or not I want to be here or at Epcot. But I think I'm going to go to Epcot because I'm here tonight.
I thought you were going to be like, I'm going to drive home. There'll be less traffic.
I'm greatly considering it.
They do say the best travel days are December the 25th and January the 1st.
I will tell you this. I watched lots of videos last year of this. I don't know if it was just because COVID and I just wanted to experience something fun. But like Epcot is kind of a pretty big party. Like people, there are people that like, oh no, we only go to Epcot. And so picking Epcot is no slouch over. And now I know you won't get the perimeter fireworks and the big countdown, I guess. I don't know. But I don't know. They got those new lights on the spaceship
do fireworks. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see if they do something fun.
I don't know. We'll see what they do. I'm just here tonight. Like, it's the exact same experience you'll get tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Like they have the DJ and all of the dance parties everywhere tonight.
Fireworks at 11:50.
Like tonight, they're fireworks at 11:50. But they're not doing that at Epcot tonight. So I figure, tonight's the only night that Magic Kingdom is only doing it. And they're going to do it again here tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And we'll be back.
So that's a pro tip, right? So why don't you share with people? So it is not, okay, so what is today's date?
Today's date is December 30th.
Yes. And they're going to do a full-on New Year's event tonight. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
same fireworks.
Right.
Same DJs, same MCs up on stage, same dance parties. Everything is the same.
So that is a pro tip if you are a Disney nerd to know that. So if you don't want, I mean, it's still chaotic. There's a lot of people there, right? But if you don't want to have to do that on New Year's Eve.
I mean, the one thing I will say about that is that I don't think the park's not close to capacity today, but I'm sure it will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's going to be insane tomorrow.
Yeah, my guess is it'll be at capacity. What is it usually, like 10 a.m. or so? It's usually before lunchtime that they say, you're at capacity. We'll keep checking back. And it usually does. Like, people will go and leave and it opens back up. But, yeah. Hey, man, we just wanted to have you on. I love it that you just happened to be at Disney World this week. And I just wanted to say I'll share the same sentiment that I shared with Ryan. Like, this show wouldn't even exist without you. So thank you for being a part of its history and getting it off the ground. And like Ryan and I, we talked a lot about those first couple of weeks of figuring it all out and how 3 people and trying to come up with ideas and everybody agree. Just how, like, it felt so grueling. But Ryan was like, it was like a week and a half or 2.
Everybody agreed. We didn't do that. Everybody agreed.
Well,
that sounds like more like something you would do, Matthew. You'd just be like, yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's do that.
It's fine.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
And if it all goes downhill, it's all on you.
That's right.
That's right.
So, enjoy your time.
I got the original. Go ahead.
I'm just looking over here. This is very exciting. So the stage show that they do during Very Merriest After Hours is going on right now. They're
fun.
Randomly doing it this evening.
That's fun.
Where is it? Where is it? Can't see anything.
I can't see a thing in this helmet.
It's so dark.
Can't see squat.
Hey, the castle looks beautiful. Nice shot.
Guys.
Camera work copyrighted by Matthew Bradshaw.
Yeah. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you have a wonderful shot.
Is this the YouTube live experience?
That's right.
The YouTube live experience. I thought I was going to be able to see the stage. Barely. Can't see it. Anyway.
Hey, this is,
eventful.
I mean, we love you, but this is way cooler than your face.
Now you know why we all don't hang out anymore.
Hold up.
Now you know why Ryan and Matthew are no longer on the show.
We were banished.
Rounding the bend.
Coming soon in 2022.
Hey, no, I mean, I have to agree. It's true.
Yeah. Coming soon in 2022. Brandon will leave.
All right.
We'll call this show, Hey, Dave talks about Disney, but no one likes him.
Whoa.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. There is a show going on.
Get it. Are the toy soldiers up there? That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
He probably can't hear us because it's ridiculously loud.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, no, I can hear you.
Oh.
Oh, just ignore
Just
it.
not listening. Story of my life.
Oh, no, I definitely hear you. You're in my ear.
Dude, your noise canceling is great, so we won't get any copyright strikes. This is fantastic. Those of you vlogging from the Magic Kingdom, this is how you do it.
But I think that might be an issue.
Look at that. Oh, look, there's 6 people. Not bad. Oh, gosh.
Nice.
I miss those views. Man.
I'm glad that I'm at my house.
Yeah, you guys are approximately 7 minutes from each other.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
If I were a pro, I could fly to Brandon and be there for compliments.
That's right.
Music is singing in my ear. I'm going to move.
Well, I feel like we saved the best visuals for the end of the show. Problem is, our show is 7 hours and 46 minutes long. No one's going to make it this far. Matthew is frozen. He's coming back. Hey, man, are you Disney Wi-Fi or Verizon?
I think we've lost him.
Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. Just that. And then you'll be saved. It wouldn't be a Ryan episode without an Office reference. Remember when there was an Office reference every single episode for 3 straight months?
I do remember.
I do.
I see movement again. He's still there.
Hello?
This is riveting content for audio.
Oh, yeah.
To our audio friends, you must love this. YouTube.com/another Disney podcast. There he is. Matthew, thank you for taking some time out of your
of course,
your vacation. Brandon, these guys all get the love tonight, but I'm going to speak directly to you. Hey, thanks for coming in and agreeing to do this madness with me. I love the perspective that you give, just being so close. And obviously our friendship is so intertwined with Disney. I mean, I think back to that trip in 2010 and just how incredible that was in that unbelievable video that we did.
Yes. Yes.
So I've enjoyed every part of this. You're still here. So that says something. That's
still
not a knock against you guys.
We'll see what happens next year. When the 2-year anniversary happens.
2022,
right.
it's Disney with Dave. New podcast coming soon.
Yep.
Another Dave podcast.
I want to say thank you to you 3 for starting this thing. This is I listened to it from day one and I enjoyed it tremendously, and I'm just glad that it's something that you guys got off the ground. It's something that I look forward to every week. It gives me an outlet. It'll, even though I live so close, it's still nice to talk about it with other people who love Disney as well. So I just want to thank the 3 of you for starting another Disney podcast, and I would love for you guys to come on more often.
Love it.
I'm in.
I told poor Matthew.
Hey.
I told poor Matthew it would be 5 minutes. We're now at almost 15. My bad.
I was like, I might be able to do a couple minutes because it's so loud here, but I found a quiet.
No, this is great. Hey, man, thanks. And most people know this. We work together, but I haven't been at the studio for like a month and a half. So, hey, man, I'll see you Monday. How crazy is that?
Don't make me think about that.
Oh wait, crap. Well, I think that was more. I think that was more of a dig at work and not me.
I think that was a dig at you.
It was a dig at me.
You.
It might have been a dig at you.
Take it how you wish.
Hey, Ryan? Where's the delete button for his feed?
Control Alt Delete.
Matthew, thanks man.
Matty B.
Hey, enjoy New Year's.
For sure.
Good to see you, buddy.
See you, Matthew.
All
Bradshaw.
right. Drive safe. We can't wait to see you at work. Later. Thanks, man. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, okay. That's it. No more fun guests.
Our guests are done.
Yep. We started off with the man, the myth, and the legend, then brought in Rob, then brought in the dynamic duo of Disney Assembled, then capped it off with Matthew at the Magic Kingdom.
Pretty darn good.
Pretty
episode.
good anniversary show.
That's a pretty good episode.
Yeah. We pulled it off. And the game was fun. I love the 5 places kids can't go. Gentlemen, it's been an honor. Brandon, I look forward to whatever shenanigans come out of 2022. I will be picking up. There's some things I'm going to say this so we can commit to it. I'm going to say it. I always say it on air like we're on TV. I'm going to say it on the show. I have loved, since we started it, I have absolutely loved a spinoff show that we did, that we ran for a while and then just kind of stopped it mostly because it was overwhelming to try to do multiple shows a week. And then we talked about scaling it back, and then that even still didn't work. But we're going to commit to at least monthly of bringing back Reimagineer It. I love that concept. I love that show. And so you would think you would run out of ideas, but no, it's Disney. We're never going to run out of ideas. Yeah. They do get harder and more challenging. We obviously reached for the low hanging fruit at the beginning, but we're going to do that at least monthly. And then we're going to, we have some good ideas. We're going to, I think we talked, Brandon, I don't know the right way to say this. I think we talked about doing some, this sounds not really engaging or fun, but lists, like shows, because I feel like there's so many fun, things like 5 worst or worst attractions at each park, worst shows at each park, best I think it's fun to give our, to share what we think or what most people think. So, and that'll break it up to not always being park news. And so, obviously we'll stay closely tied to that, as big thing, obviously we're in the middle of the 50th anniversary. Well, we're at the beginning stages of the 50th anniversary. So we've got a lot of news that's going to continue to come out of that. But, I'm excited about the direction that we talked about for the show. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be great. I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Yes. Ryan, we will, if you are interested, we will have you on from time to time to talk about stuff that you love.
My goodness, I would love that.
I would love it.
I would dig it.
Yes. Okay, that's it. 50 episodes, 1 year. We're still in diapers. The poop is now stinky. The baby poop, no poop smell is gone. And so maybe next year we'll be talking.
Yes.
I don't know where this is going. I always end these shows so great.
That's weird.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To we're not going to speculate. We're not going to say anything hopeful. It's just Happy New Year, 2022.
Happy New Year,
Here we go.
See you in 2022.
Later.